Welcome, everybody, to episode 239 of WordPress Weekly for Wednesday, June 29th, 2016. I'm your host, Jeff Chandler, joined by Marcus Couch. And Marcus,
Hello.
we didn't do a show last week. I was sort of partying and celebrating something the city I live near hasn't celebrated in 52 years, and that is a pro sports team championship, as the Cavs made NBA history to win the NBA Finals, and that was it was pretty special. It was a really good time here all around the Northern Ohio area. And meanwhile, you were having an Oahu over there in Hawaii, huh?
I was. Yeah, it was great. I had a fun time. But I'm darn glad to be back home, where I tweeted out earlier today. I've got my own computer back, fast internet, and my nice desk chair. So no place like home.
That's right. I'm with you on that one, brother. So we got some news to get into, but during our absence, we've noticed that we've received 2 iTunes reviews, some pretty cool reviews, actually. And I read the first one. It's by Byte Outfitter, and this was submitted on June 2nd. He says this is a highly recommended show. Give us 5 stars. And he says that I've only been listening to this podcast for about 6 months, but it's now one of my favorites. He says the host compliments each other well. The conversations are always easy to follow. And what I really enjoy most are the guests they have on almost every week. Great podcast for anyone who works with WordPress. So, it's a pretty cool review. Thanks a lot, by Outfitter. And Marcus, who's the second one by?
It's Quiff, Q-U-I-F.
Yeah,
it was.
I'll stick with that. I don't want to say the other one.
June 2nd, 2016, 5 stars. The title is Paying Attention. I've been using WordPress for a while, but never really paid much attention to the WordPress community. Now I'm starting to do some projects for other people. I discovered WP Tavern while hunting for a little background on one of the platform features recently, and have started listening. Suddenly, I've got the taste of the community with Jeff and Marcus's voices and a whole different view of WordPress, a real step forward for me. So that's very nice that we were able to kind of give a voice to the community.
Yeah, I mean, he's busy cranking away on projects, learning about WordPress, and this show kind of gives him a glimpse into the people, the human side of WordPress, the people who are working behind the scenes to keep the machine known as WordPress running on an everyday basis. And that's a pretty cool thing that we're able to do on the show on a weekly basis.
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff, I listen to every WordPress podcast that there is. Everyone. That's while I'm working, that's what I listen to. And to me, it's great because, not every how do I say this? Not every show is something new for me, but every other one generally is something that I can take a little nugget away from, or a piece of news that I didn't hear about, or a revision of something, or something new that's come out. And it's worth it to listen to WordPress podcasts. It really is.
Yeah, and for those shows that you listen to, or episodes where you don't pick up a lot of things, or a lot of stuff isn't new to you, that just kind of reaffirms that you're on top of things, or you're smarter than the average bear.
Yeah, and people, like, I have the fortune of being on 2 different WordPress podcasts, and the other one, which is WordPress Plugins A to Z, has almost the identical audience. Like, I don't know one person that listens to one that doesn't listen to the other. So, that's kind of, for me, like, how would it be? It's like if you like an album full of nothing but guitar solos, right? That's what that other show is. But you get the whole album over here on WordPress Weekly.
That's actually a pretty good comparison. So anybody out there, if you really enjoy the show, if you don't, or if you got some pretty cool feedback you'd like to give us, please send us a review on iTunes. And if you happen to listen to us over there on Stitcher, I haven't checked Stitcher in a while, submit us a review over there on Stitcher as well, and we'll be sure to get over there at some point and read them. And I don't know if we have anything over there, but I'll have to check after the show.
Yeah, and by the way, since it's been a couple weeks since we've had a show together, Mendel, remember we talked about Mendel a lot in when we were doing our Invado, or what was the event? SiteLock Evangelist interview.
Yeah, we were talking about the WordPress evangelists were all at various companies in the
And
WordPress space.
Mendel was very complimentary of that particular episode. So thank you, Mendel. He tweeted about it and all that and said that, we stuck to our guns and did a really good in-depth interview about the process of being an evangelist and what headaches they have to go through. So kudos to everybody who commented on that episode.
Yeah, just for that, we'll give Mendel could be a friend of the show.
I don't think so yet.
Oh man, look at you you're holding tough.
No, he's a cool guy, but friend of the show, that's like a whole nother level. I mean, I think Matt Mullenweg is just
you're right.
Matt's almost friend of the show. I think the next appearance will finally be friend of the show status for Matt Mullenweg, correct?
Yeah, quite possibly. He's been on the show a number of times over the years, but I mean, we could formally announce it. Pending nothing changes, he will be our guest on the show next Wednesday evening, July 6th. And holy smokes, we're going to play a game called 1,000 Questions with Matt Mullenweg.
Yeah, let's all hold hands in a circle and chant and pray that this is the actual episode where all three of us have great connectivity.
Oh, isn't that the truth? It seems like every time he's out on remote somewhere. He's either on a speakerphone or his internet connection is not the best, or one of us, either you or I, are having issues. So maybe this is the time. This is the episode where everything comes together and it just rocks.
Yeah, this is it. We're due, man. We're due for that golden Matt Mullenweg interview. It's coming.
So this past weekend, a huge event took place in terms of WordCamps, and that is WordCamp Europe. Took place in Vienna, and holy smokes, there's about 2,200 attendees there, physical attendees in person. There's about 1,000 people who purchased tickets to see the live stream for free. And so some interesting stats here that Sarah Gooding over on WP Tavern posted, where the event received 150 micro sponsorships. I mean, that's a lot of sponsorships for an event, which means it's probably one of the most sponsored events, WordPress events, that we know of so far. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of different sessions. It looks like everybody had a great time at the event. And if you happen to miss the live streams, which I did, apparently I live completely opposite of European time. So every time they were starting the day with sessions, I was going to bed. So that's just the way that works out. So I didn't have an opportunity to watch the live stream at all. But today, news came out that each track, there's 3 different tracks of sessions, but each track, the live stream version of it, you can go and watch through its entirety through a couple of links on YouTube on the WordCamp Europe website. So if there's a particular session you missed, you just click on the live stream, fast forward to the part where it has your session, and you can give it a watch. And this ought to hold people over until the individual sessions are uploaded to WordPress.tv. And Marcus, I know you were in Hawaii. I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch any part of the WordCamp Europe live stream?
No, I was watching fish through snorkeling and avoiding sea urchins with my hands.
Well,
and
I'll give you a pass. I'll give you a pass. That's what you were doing.
No, I seriously did not look at any WordPress stuff. I was ready to do the show last week, believe it or not, but I really didn't peruse anything. I looked at the one of the news stories we've got coming up about the directory. So.
So at the closing remarks for WordCamp Europe 2016, it was announced that WordCamp Europe 2017 will be in Paris, France on June 16th through the 18th. Now, this is a week prior to when the event was this year, and they're hoping that they're hoping to avoid the brutal heat. That's one of the things I noticed throughout the event is people tweeting about how hot it was this time of year in that area. So maybe they'll get a little bit lucky. It might be a little bit cooler next year. But according to this, the venue can actually hold more than 2,200 people. So if they wanted to grow and add more people, they can. They've already put tickets on sale. And the last time I checked, about 220 tickets have already been sold out of 2,000. So if you're interested in going to one of the largest WordPress events in the world, in Paris, France, by the way. So, maybe you can somehow finagle that into a business trip or something and take a loved one, turn it into something more than just a business trip. Yeah, head over to Paris, France, go to the official website, which we'll link to in the show notes, and purchase your ticket. And this will give you, and since you already know the date, the venue, the city, this gives you more than a year in advance to plan and purchase your airline tickets and your hotel. Well, which is really convenient because most times you rarely have a month, if that, to make your travel arrangements for a camp.
Yes, and stock up on sleeping aids for the flight over. That's a long one.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, man, imagine going there from where you're at in Orange County. Would you fly all the way to the East Coast and go that way, or would you go the other way?
Over Asia? Are you kidding me? No, you just go to New York and then fly from New York to.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. What am I talking about? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's far the other way. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. Now I do. Things I learned. TIO. So everybody looks like had a great time, and holy smokes, there's a lot of great photos coming out of this event. A lot of people took photographs, and I especially liked the one with Matt Mullowig and Mike Little, the two people that made WordPress happen, the founder and co-founders of the WordPress project together again. And it's got to be pretty special for those two whenever they can get in the same room together and just you talk about the good old days and back in the beginning where it all happened and sort of catching up with each other. I mean, they got to have some pretty cool conversations because of that relationship they've had.
I know, if you could be a fly on the wall and just hear that talk between them, like, yeah, see, I told you it should have been JavaScript.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know who's saying what in that conversation, but
maybe we can bring that up next week. We can get at least one part of the team on here, and you might be able to tell us.
Okay. We'll role play. We'll be the other person. Yeah.
So speaking of WordPress events, another really cool WordPress event was announced this year, and that is WordSesh 4. Now, they didn't have an event last year. The last WordSesh was in December of 2014, but WordSesh 4 will take place this year, August 19th and 20th. And what it is, it's like a virtual WordCamp where there's one session per hour for 24 hours. So you don't have to get a hotel or anything. You can enjoy and partake in this event as long as you have an internet connection, and the event is free. And it's really cool. And they post all the videos and sessions just like a typical WordCamp onto the YouTube account. And I know that last year, or when they did WordSesh 3, it attracted 3,000 unique viewers from 89 different countries. So that's an incredible reach. And the only way you can really do that is if you have a virtual free online conference. You can't, you're not going to get people from 89 countries to a physical event, at least not without it might be possible, but doesn't seem likely. But WordSesh is a pretty cool event organized by Scott Basgard. He also has a lot of help from Brad Williams and a number of other people. So looking forward to that, and more details will come out shortly. For all we know right now, the date is August 19th and the 20th, which puts it in between, of course, WordCamp Europe, which has happened now, and WordCamp US later in the year. So it's kind of in the middle in between the two. So it should work out, but I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I want in on that. How do I speak at that?
Let's see. There hasn't been a call for speakers yet, but I'm sure there will be. And we'll probably either talk about it on the show or I'll let you know on Twitter. But I actually had the chance to be on WordSesh 3, and I participated in the WordPress News Roundtable where I think it was me, Brian Krosgaard, Brad Williams was on there, a few other people, and we were just talking about the state of WordPress news, journalism, different stories. And I was really looking forward to it. And by the time I got on there and got into my groove, it was done. The 45 minutes was gone. So, once you get in there and it's a roundtable, time flies. But I had a great time, and overall, WordSesh is just a great event.
Yeah, it's too bad they couldn't have just now that would be cool to have a spillover room. Like if you want to continue the conversation and people want to continue to follow the track.
Oh yeah, I think they did something like that in WordSesh 3. I think there was like a spillover room where they had a room and a session and a video. The chat room was for whatever session was on currently, but if you wanted to go talk about other things or whatever else, they had a separate chat room that you could go to. So I think they did have one.
Well, not just chat room, but maybe continue your panel.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see. So like an after show for the panel.
Well, yeah, but see, okay, we're all WordPress people. We can understand how the logistics of this works, right? So what you do is you have just a side room for that particular track that also has that stream on it, and then oh, who's calling me? And then
The WordSesh is calling you. Say, hey, Marcus.
yeah, hey, how's it going, guys? Um, the you could just have the page would refresh when the new session is coming up, but if you knew what the side link was, then you could just go back in there, and that embedded video from the Hangout would continue.
I see what you're saying. That might work. I don't know what they're gonna set up, but that would be an interesting idea to try out.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of giveaways, there is a huge giveaway that's taking place over on the Advanced WordPress Facebook group, where they are celebrating their 20,000 member, or at least they're now over 20,000 members. They're about, I think they're pretty close to 21,000 now.
At least.
So this group was organized and started by Michael Bastos in 2011, and we featured it on the Tavern. I did in the summer of 2014, and shortly thereafter, I went from 7,500 members to over 10,000. So we look at it about 2 years later, it's doubled to over 20,000. And there's a lot of things. I'm a member of the group. I think, Marcus, you might be a member of the group.
I am.
And there's a lot of topics and a lot of things that come up. It's like in cycles, these topics, but there's a lot of great and cool discussions on there about businesses and clients and how to handle relationships and how to get people to pay you and things of that nature. And there's also some high level technical discussion. Sometimes it's kind of a mixed bag. It's not just advanced technical code oriented stuff, but there's some other ancillary issues that are talked about as well. So overall, it's a well-run group. There are plenty of moderators for the most part to help stem some of those major disagreements and debates that sometimes happens on there. But they're having a huge giveaway. And when I initially wrote about this, it was about $40,000 worth of prizes. And then over the weekend, Automatic dropped by and said, hey, we want to be part of this. And they donated close to $30,000 worth of Jetpack Professional 1-year licenses. So that's pretty cool from them. And then I found out that there are a couple of other products and things that are going to be added to this thing. So by the time it's all over with, we could have a giveaway here that exceeds over $100,000. That's a pretty big giveaway.
I know. That's crazy. I signed up for that giveaway too. So I need some stuff. So please give me some.
So if you want to know, I originally linked to a Rafflecopter widget, but they're not using that anymore. There's actually a post on WP Couple, which I've linked to in the most recent post on the Tavern. Of course, you can find that in the show notes. But what you have to do is you have to go over to that post, leave a comment, and boom, you're entered. And the email address that you use as part of filling out the comment form, if you win something, they'll contact you via that email address, and it's that easy. No purchase required. So that's a lot of stuff, and that's $100,000. That's a lot of WordPress stuff and goodies that you can possibly win. Just a section of that. But if you, I was just thinking about this. The WordPress economy as a whole, it's probably just a fraction of what's out there in terms of the total amount of all the different products and services out there related to WordPress. It's probably millions of dollars worth.
You know what I haven't seen that this is sort of akin to? Because of the fact that you can get this big collective of all these things. Sometimes we have these fundraisers or, trying to help the community and do Kickstarters and all that stuff. A really good conduit for that, or trying to drive awareness or some sort of an educational endeavor, would be to get these kinds of donations that all these people are doing for giveaways, but then make it so that you can pay whatever you want. Like if I want to just buy it for $10. or a plug-in or something like that. I mean, name your own price, knowing that it all is going to a specific cause. That would be kind of cool to do.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that yet. That would be something interesting to see. I've seen that done in other places and for other products, but never for like a specific cause, like a charity or something from a WordPress company in the space yet. So it'd be interesting if anybody out there listening, and we might be talking about it next week.
Yeah, well, I hope it works. I hope it benefits people if somebody wants to use that idea.
So one of the cool benefits of having a WordCamp event with 2,200 people is you could probably get quite a few of them to join you for a contributor day. And that's exactly what happened at WordCamp Europe this past weekend, where over 500 attendees signed up for contributor day. And I'm pretty sure that's probably the largest contributor day of any WordCamp in history. That's a lot of people. I mean, that's just for a contributor day, that's larger than most WordCamps, main WordCamp events.
Absolutely.
So one of the events that took place there was a plugin review workshop, and this was led by Mika Epstein, who we've had on the show before, and we went really in depth on the plugin review process and all the work that goes into that. And attendees got the chance to learn how the repository and review system works hands-on. And so she announced there's a new channel now on a WordPress Slack called Plugin Review, which allows the reviewers to discuss plugin reviews. Now, it's not, if you're a plugin developer, it's not a place where you go to check on the status of your review. It's not where you report plugin vulnerabilities or security vulnerabilities. It's mainly for the group of people who are reviewers to have a place to have real-time communication, to discuss things that they're finding, or as they add more members to the team, it gives them a chance to have real-time communication. And they're working on the infrastructure now for the WordPress plugin directory. And once they get a hold of that and they get a great user experience in place, they're actually going to start letting people apply after they fulfill the requirements to be able to review plugins, to gain access to review plugins privately. So I don't know if it's going to be in the near future or the not so distant future, but I bet Pippin Williamson and Mika Epstein, who are the two primary plugin reviewers, can't wait to be able to add people to lessen the load on them and to speed up the review process for all the developers out there.
Yeah, I like that. And I in terms of the layout and all that, have we,
let's talk about that. Do you want to talk? Okay, so speaking of plugins,
yeah,
one of the major announcements they have in a WordCamp Europe was by Konstantin Oberlin, who is a WordPress core contributor, and he announced that the new design for the WordPress plugin directory is an open beta, meaning we need as many people as possible to go over there and take a look at it, especially if you have a plugin on the directory. Your feedback is most warranted. And there's a couple of things on the page. Marcus, I know you had a chance to take a look at it. I've had a chance to take a look at it. Starting off, it's cleaner. It's simpler than what we have currently. But the one thing I immediately noticed is the current directory has tabs. So you can click a tab for changelog or for versions or other info. This new design gets rid of all the tabs, and now you have all the information that was in those tabs is displayed all on one page in a single page. And if you want to go see the changelog, you have to scroll all the way down, and you possibly have to click a read more button. I definitely don't like that. There's too much scrolling and too much of me trying to find the read more button on these items. I want them to go back to the tab form. Did you what things did you notice after looking at the new design?
Okay, so let's stay on plugins, since we're talking about individual pages of the actual plugin itself.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, then I want to go back to something else, which is the search functionality.
Okay.
Okay. So, it's okay in the sense that they got away from the kind of curved sort of Kubrick-y style with the text over the graphic, over the header graphic of what it looks like. Instead, it's now spelled out underneath, and it prominently displays who made the plugin. I like that a lot in terms of being able to recognize who actually created this instead of hiding them on a sidebar somewhere at the bottom. So that's great. It's well presented. It looks really nice in responsive mode. Like, so when you're looking through it on your phone and things, it now looks really nice, and the header is responsive and all that. So that's cool. I don't necessarily mind the long page scroll because, frankly, Jeff, how often are you on these pages?
I'm not on there often, but okay. Well, I see your point there, but I like looking at the. I'm one of those guys that likes looking at the change log, though I could probably find that through other means.
The change log is there.
But well, I know it's there, but I mean, I have to, like I said, I'm going to wear out my scroll wheel. At least that's what I think, because it's near the bottom. But if they were going to have one field that's expanded where you shouldn't have to click read more, it's the plugin's description. That's the most important part, I think, of the page.
Well, maybe so. I don't know. It seems you got to look at it from one angle that you don't want. I mean, yeah, tabs are cool, but tabs suck in mobile, and you got to start thinking mobile now and responsive. And I just sometimes just want the gist of what it does. And remember, the way that we had it before was that the description was up by the header and usually truncated, and then you saw the actual description down below. So you had to read the actual description down below anyway. So I don't know. I think it's just a summary. But so to me, that's not the biggest deal.
All right. So I know a lot of other plugin authors have weighed in on this already, and others have commented on the search functionality and said it really needs to be improved.
It's terrible, and there's no way to sort it. I can search for something, but it doesn't. I don't have a way to know what's new. I don't have a way to know what's the most popular anymore in terms of downloads or active installs. Why can't I see what the active installs is in my search?
Yeah, so if you type in SEO into the new plugin directory design, you get all these results you get Yoast, all-in-one SEO, and it shows you the total number of ratings, average rating, and a truncated description of the plugin, and then that's it. And then you have to browse, and then you have the pagination down at the bottom. And then if you want to see more information about the plugin, you have to click on its name, and then you're taken to its individual plugin page. But like you said, there's no sorting options. There's other than what you presented, that's it. You can't really sift through them.
What is the sorting criteria that they're displaying them in? Because Yoast is number one, followed by all-in-one SEO, both plugins that are, upgrade to premium version.
Right.
Is there now going to be under this model, since you typed SEO, oddly enough, an SEO for the repository? Now we can stuff the keywords in the description so that we come up first in the search algorithm?
I don't know. I don't know I don't know if it's the same algorithm that they're using. I mean, I'll do this real quick while we're here. I'll do SEO on the old plugin design. Okay, so if I go to the current WordPress plugin directory and I type in SEO, I get plugins like SEO tags, SEO meta. Unbelievably, Yoast and all-in-one SEO don't show up first, which is I'm kind of scratching my head there. Wow, that's kind of incredible. I wonder why that is. But if you go to the new page, yeah, Yoast and all-in-one SEO and the SEO framework, those show up on the first page of results up at the top. I have no idea what they're using for the ranking algorithm, but I do know I have heard from other plugin developers through the feedback area that the search definitely has to be improved.
Yeah. So I'm just curious. I'm not saying anything nefarious is happening in terms of the display results, but I would love to be able to sort them on my own.
Yeah, I mean, I would as well. I mean, I would love to sort between latest updated or newest, last, however, see which ones have updated the most recent, or sort by the highest reviews.
Give me the ones
ratings.
that are completely free. Give me the ones that are upgraded to premium.
Which, by the way, now that you bring that up, I think we sort of talked about this when we mentioned the prototype designs a few weeks ago and a couple of episodes ago. But in the prototype designs for the new plugin directory, they were experimenting sort of like a placeholder where you would see a free sort of chiclet or tag on the, let's say, all-in-one SEO pack, or on a plugin that has a premium, like an upgrade to a premium version like Yoast, you would see a pro or something to that effect to let you know that it's free, but there's also an upgrade to a pro version. Now, I don't see these tags, these differentiators on the plugin on the new design, but it'll be interesting to see if maybe in the final iteration, if that comes to be, so that'd be another thing you could sort between totally free or those that have a pro option available.
It makes sense. Why not do it? There are so many plugins. Why not differentiate that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll have to see how that turns out. But I mean, overall, I don't mind the look and feel of the page. I mean, it looks modern, it's stylish, and like you said, it works great on mobile. You can navigate it great on mobile compared to what we have now. I just have a couple of nitpicky things, but overall, I don't think it's that bad.
So who's in charge of this part of the presentation and things of this site? Is there a project that we can contribute to?
All right, so there's a couple of people involved. The people leading this are part of the WordPress meta team, and they have their own make website, their own team, and members like Konstantin Oberlin and a couple of other people are part of the meta team, and they're leading the way on this effort to redesign the plugin directory. And in Slack, I forget the channel. I'd have to put a link to the make website, but they have a meeting every week that you can go in there and contribute to and give feedback and other things of that nature on the plugin directory redesign. So there are ways that you can get, the average Joe can get in there, give some feedback, and contribute back to the project.
Well, I think I need to volunteer.
So, yeah. Go. I could point you in the right direction if you'd like.
I would like that, because I think if anything, everybody knows that before I even read the news, before I see what Hillary or Trump said, the first thing I do, in fact, it's funny because if you go to my if I go to my address bar in my browser and just type W, it knows to go to the plugin directory where the new plugins are, like instantly. Yeah. That's how frequently I go to that page. And so for years, like 8 years, that's all I do every single morning is look at the plugins. What came out? What's going on? What hooks with this? What's the groundbreaking thing that I never thought of before that now suddenly all these clients can use, or people in membership sites can use, or any of that. So I think I'm sort of an expert on user experience within the plugin repository. So why not help them out?
And by the way, now that you've mentioned it, the new design continues the path of not having a link to see the newest plugins on the directory. You still have to be in the know. You have to know the secret link in order to see a list of the newest plugins that have been uploaded to the directory.
Oh, well, I'm going to give it away to the listeners. Ready?
Go ahead.
It's wordpress.org/plugins/browse/new.
There you go.
That's it. That's just for you. We're not even going to put it in the show notes. Thank you for listening. That's your little Easter egg.
Awesome. So speaking of plugins, Marcus, I do think you have 3 for our picks of the week.
Let me pull out the magic bag and see what kind of tricks I got in there. All right. The first one is order, import, export for WooCommerce. This is really cool because a lot of people have issues with this. I had somebody that said, I need to hook up Zapier to import and export all my products. I'm like, I don't know if you want to be doing all that. when you could just find a plugin to do it. And I found this plugin for them, and it does everything. It imports and exports orders. It's really nice if you're migrating from one platform to another. You can import previous orders. People can actually log in and look at old stuff, even though they probably didn't even use WordPress or WooCommerce with that particular platform. So pretty cool. Order, import, export for WooCommerce. This next one is something that's pretty neat that I think all you designers out there and people that have clients that have to go into the back end and do stuff, this is a really nice plugin to install. It's called Disable Plugin Deactivation. And what it does is it prevents somebody from deactivating, activating, deleting, editing, or updating a plugin. And it's just kind of a lockdown thing. And it's pretty neat because what it does is it requires an admin password to be able to do that, I believe. So that's a pretty cool one, Disable Plugin Deactivation. And finally, WP Domains. All right, Jeff, you ready for this? This is the Hydra effect. This is the fork in the road that we've been waiting for forever. It allows you to use different domains for the back end than what the front end of the WordPress site is. So I can put like marcuscouchadmin.com and go to that and still log in, and I have the complete back end, but the site exists on marcuscouch.com. Kind of weird. It's like a drone. It's like a drone pilot.
So I wonder when that would come in handy.
I don't know, but somebody out there
feels it's necessary, and they couldn't find anything. And this person, Alvarado Canuto, which apparently this is his first plugin.
Yeah. I got to get back to doing it. I apologize to everybody. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. If you ever wondered about, can I use a different domain for the back end and front end? Yes, you can.
Now, maybe it would have something to do with security. Like you would have a domain where you only whitelist specific IPs. And that way it could only be accessed from that and could never be hacked from the front end.
Well, that's entirely plausible.
Yeah. Or you could just trick your client and say, hey, it's totally secure.
Yeah.
We're going to set up 2 websites for you. That's only going to be another $3,000.
So if anyone out there is listening, if you can, if you know of a cool use case for this, send me an email, jeffc@wptavern.com, and I'd love to read it on next week's show when we do the plugin picks of the week. I'd like to hear some ideas or some use cases on where it would come in handy to use different domains for use one domain for the front end and a different domain for the back end. I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's and any of the plugins that I suggest. If they work well for you, let me know. If you think anything that I brought up is a clunker, then tell me. Tell Jeff.
Yeah. Or if there's a plugin out there that you think is just so kick-ass and has saved you so much time that other people in the world have to know about it, you can also send us suggestions at jeffc@wptavern.com, and we'll throw them in here into the plugin picks of the week. And we might even, depending on the types of feedback we get on there, we'll say, here's WordPress Weekly's listeners plugin picks of the week by our listeners. Yes. Something like that. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, and please, you're gonna regret saying that, but if you get into the cycle that I get into, you get about 50 people a day that email you attachments of plugins and say, hey man, what else do you think my plugin needs?
Well, we're not going to do consulting. That's for sure. But we're more than willing to say, hey, this exists. You might want to check it out.
Yeah. And, if there's something that's groundbreaking in terms of plugins, that if you're a developer and you've come out with something or some neat idea that you think I would dig based on my history of plugin picks of the week, let us know. Hit me on Twitter, whatever you got to do. But people love this segment. It's like I said before in the show, it's kind of the guitar solo, and people dig it.
So the end of July, we're nearing the end of June here, and we're coming up on the United States of America's Independence Day. So that's a great holiday, and it's going to be great weather here this weekend. But at the end of July, I will be at WordCamp Oklahoma City. It's the state's first official WordPress event. So looking forward to be part of that inauguration. And like I said, next week, July 6th, pending nothing changes, our guest will be Matt Mullenweg, and I'm stoked for that show. We've got so many things to ask him, and we're going to dive into so many different subjects. Time's going to fly by, and man, Marcus, it's going to be one for the record books.
Yeah, everybody, you're going to want to tune in to the live stream of that one, and maybe we'll look at the IRC. We have a live chat for everybody that's listening that isn't aware that we record this.
Oh, man, it's been so long since I've been in the live chat.
I know. It's terrible. We suck. Yeah. But we do have a live chat. We'll pay more attention to it now. But we'll be diligent in tweeting out that there'll be a live chat and all of that stuff, and we'll just kind of keep it that way. And if anybody wants to ask Matt questions, they can do it like that.
So that's going to do it for this episode. Well, actually, before we get to the closing remarks, Marcus, I saw on Twitter today that your membership coach site has gone live. Is it fully live?
It is. I've got just a little bit of content to finish up for some of the first modules that are being released.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
You've been working on that for a long time. A lot of hard work.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about, I don't like getting too promote-y on this show about it, but I'll talk since you asked. I created this thing called the Membership Fundamentals course, and it's actually 64 different chapters, and it's about, I think, close to 7 hours long. And I get into really everything, and I'll tell you, just doing all of that content alone, I really think I could write a book like right now. That's how much info is kind of going through me about membership sites. So one of the cool things that I've been doing is right when somebody signs up to the membership site, they go right to a link that has them book a half hour's worth of time with me. And the calls that I've had so far of the people that signed up, it is so diverse as far as their WordPress background. Some of them are experts and own their own agency. Some of them are just salespeople that are trying to create an association of like-minded salespeople within their industry to do, because they don't have an association or a union or anything because of the products that they sell. And, it's a manufacturing product. This country used to be based on manufacturing, and now, reps can't even get together. So it's very interesting. And I've also brought a couple people on board that are musicians, and they are interested in it from they're pretty well known. I mean, they've been on the Vans Warped Tour and all that, and they want to know how to make their fans into members.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that they can still share live stream content of their shows. They can goof around in the studio with the live stream that only the fans can access. They can share tracks or, noodle around and get instant feedback from their audience and their biggest fans. And so they want to charge $10 a month, and they've got over 1 million followers on Twitter. So even if they just had, 10,000 of those people, give them $10, that's their sustainability. That's all their tour money, and that's everything they need to continue. And
by using WordPress and controlling their domain, controlling how they want to do with their membership site, controlling the prices, and they don't have to go through a record label and whatever proprietary crap they've got going on.
Right. And so you get to be a musician again, and your fan base supports you, and it doesn't have to be playing 1 million dive bars in order to sustain yourself or make the next record or share and interact with fans that, doesn't involve drugs and alcohol combined with it. I mean, it's kind of a clean thing. And that's what's kind of touching me back, is that I deal with a lot of high impact clients, but seeing these new iterations of this and how people want to change their entire industries based on membership sites, it really validates everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah. At some point when you when you're a few months into this and you've done a lot of those scheduling calls and you're working with a lot of clients for membership sites, I want you to come on the show and be like, I set up this membership website and it's all about teaching people everything I know about membership sites. But here are a couple of things that these people have taught me. I want you to come on the show. And I don't know if you've learned, I don't know if you've had any special things that you found out that you've learned already from some of these client calls, but I bet you in a few months, it'd be cool to find out what you've discovered just from interacting with your clients in this way, like maybe some special use cases or needs for a membership site that you probably didn't think of.
Well, I will do that based on that request, but I will also give a hint to a lot of people that are out there that they can do the same kind of thing. Every so often, if I've got an hour to kill, instead of wasting my time on YouTube or whatever, I'll go on Twitter and say, hey, I've got an hour free in about 20 minutes.
I've seen you do that.
And if you have a problem, tell me what it is. And if I can fix it, I'm going to fix it for you, and I'm going to do it for nothing. And I've saved people a lot of problems, a lot of time that, they were scared to death of. And what they don't realize is that's for me. Like, I'm doing it because I want to flex my brain and try and figure out a solution to a problem. There were some people that were doing some stuff, WooCommerce stuff the other day, and I didn't know the direct answer, but I kind of led them down the right path, which they ended up following. And I asked them I said, when you finally figure out what the answer is, tell me what that answer is, because I'd really like to know. So I encourage that. If anybody out there is a CSS expert or PHP or whatever your specialty within WordPress happens to be, throw that out there with, like a WordPress hashtag, and tell them you'll spend 20 minutes on a problem for free, or an hour, or whatever it happens to be. It's so much more rewarding than anything else you can do. But in terms of, the paid presence within the membership site, I mean, I only give that first call out free, just, right when somebody joins, because I want to interview them and see where I can steer the content in terms of their specific needs.
So if our listeners are interested in participating in learning everything that you know about membership sites, where can they go?
It's it's membershipcoach.com, and it's not just stuff I know, but I do like the regular training stuff, and then we do live masterminds, and we do other things called fast fixes, where I'm just going to show you how to fix something or put something on your site in under 10 minutes. Like, that's how long it'll take you, 10 minutes. So pretty cool program. I'm really learning a lot, as much as I have high profile clients, even putting my own membership site together has been a challenge.
Well, it's got to be a bit of a relief for you to say, hey, it's open. Come sign up. We're rocking and rolling now. You're moving on to the next stage. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm still like building the set as people are coming into the theater, if you know what I'm saying. But it's been a rewarding experience for sure.
That's great to hear, man. So congrats. Best of luck with you on that.
Thanks.
Hopefully some of our listeners out there will go support you and check you out.
Yeah.
Maybe email us your experience. Email me at jeffc@wptavern.com and let me know if you've gone through the Membership Coach website, if you've signed up. Let me know what you think of what Marcus has created over there. I'd love to know. And yeah, I might share it with Marcus live on the show without him realizing it.
That's okay.
I might surprise him with some on-air reviews.
Hey, you can Google me, man. There's nothing bad about me out there. I make sure that I focus on results. I know what results people want. And that's why I take those calls and I ask, what do you want to get out of this? And I make sure that I steer everything towards that.
So that's going to do it for this week's edition of WordPress Weekly. You can find show notes for this episode and all previous episodes on WPTavern.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at Jeffro, that's JEFFR0, and Marcus.
You can find me at marcuscouch.com and membershipcoach.com. And same names for Twitter, Membership Coach and Marcus Couch.
So everybody have a safe and enjoyable holiday weekend. Please do not put any fireworks in any orifice of your body and try and let them explode. Usually that usually doesn't end well. I don't want to see a news report of you on the news because you had one too many and blew a finger off. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you again next Wednesday evening. Until then, happy 4th of July, everyone. Talk to you soon.